Good day, brothers and sisters. Welcome to another episode of the Patriot and Lama Show. This is episode 56, Practical Wisdom. Again, episode 56, Practical Wisdom. We got a lot to share with you today. We're very excited. This show is today on Wednesday. So usually we do it on Thursday, but I'll be flying tomorrow. So we had this show today on Wednesday. Make sure to spread it out to everybody. Share it, like it, comment. I don't know if we sent the email out today because of the confusion of moving it from Thursday to today, but make sure you share it out, share it in all over. It's friendly for Facebook, friendly for YouTube. We've had all these shows to date, and actually the one that I thought that they put on private, they actually released off of private. So they've all been good. Facebook's never had one problem in YouTube. Again, if you want to get more information, the latest from the Lama series, you see that up in our favorite Lama's image behind him, the latest from the Lama series. You can join the Circle of Life community for free, and you can get latest from the Lama series, and you'll get intel on everything that's going down, folks. And it's from the Lama series that's been around 3,000 plus years. They know what they're talking about. I've been following what they've been saying for over 15 months now, and they've been more accurate than anybody out there spewing their intel, okay? So, again, Rasaji.com, let me go ahead and put that up. It's free to join the community. I'll just run that for a while, and then I'll run My Patriots Network next. It's free to join the community, and you can get, I think there's now 12 updates from the Lama series, and they are freaking powerful. So again, sow some good seeds, spread the word. Today is Wednesday. We usually do on Thursday. We forgot to send the email out, I think. I'm pretty sure we did. We're asking him to send it out now. So spread. And then, of course, we're recording this now, and we will share it with everybody. So practical wisdom. We're going to talk about this with our favorite master Lama, one of only 12 in the world, from the oldest lamasery on the planet, that has all the ancient scriptures and all of this knowledge that hasn't been infiltrated by governments and religions and other organizations and, restricted and changed and modified. So it's really exciting to be able to get that information within the Circle of Life community. So make sure you take advantage of that. The cost is, what did I say, free? Zero. So go ahead and do that. There's people paying $14, $15, $20, $30 a month for things that are just nonsense, and you can get this information for free right there on Rasaji.com. Okay, look at the bottom of where it's scrolling there. So we're going to be talking about how to use practical wisdom in these current times that we're in. If any of you are tuned into what's going on, most people are in doom and gloom mode. I mean, they are literally in doom and gloom mode. All right. They are freaking out. They don't know what to do. They're seeing the gas prices are just slamming. They're going up and up and up. I mean, we're going to probably be here in Texas pretty soon. We were talking before on the Mastermind webinars, Brother Rasaji, myself, and our sage from the South, Joseph Land. We were talking about, what's going on. I mean, one of his friends just made $100 million in trading oil. Okay. This is the kind of knowledge that we're bringing in on these mastermind webinars. This is not about people that are business coaches, the business coaches that never owned a business. These are people that have made billions of dollars. Okay. And they know what's going on, and they know how for you to use practical wisdom and put yourself in the right side of this thing for you and your family and your God-given destiny, okay? We're not being blessed like we're being blessed, and we're not being brought all of these things just by circumstance. Last year, I didn't make 15 times the money that I made the year before in sales based on circumstances. It's all about the Creator and bringing the resources to the table for Brother Rasaji and myself we could just be focusing only on, Circle of Life and Mastermind and not doing the Patriot and Lama shows and not helping anybody if we didn't care. And, it ain't about the money. We got plenty of that. Okay. And this Lama series coming up in North America. And I know a lot of you lovely people out there are going to help us with that. Okay. And we're going to put a light this country in North America up like it's never been lit up before. Okay. But at the end of the day, practical wisdom is something you need big time to utilize during these times. And let me read the definition of it before we go to our brother Lama here, and he gives us, the rundown of what his discernment and what the Lama series is saying. But let me read the definitions of that for you all, okay? So practical wisdom means knowing how to balance conflicting aims and principles. This kind of wisdom acknowledges the uncertain risk cannot be eliminated, but guides us in becoming wiser about how we manage it. Practical wisdom develops out of what we learn from books, from data, from teachers, and experience. So this is what we're talking about today, that we want all of you. Our goal here, personally, this isn't our show, this is the Creator's show. But our goal here personally is that through us as vehicles, this information comes to you to help you ascend to the destiny that you were put here for. Because if you think you were put here to just buy a bunch of stuff and go to the movies and eat and, do all the rest of the stuff us human beings do, you're missing a boat in a big way. Okay. You were put here. First of all, you're part of the Creator's family. You're royalty. And you were put here for a destiny that can change everything, that can help change it all. Christ came, one person, built the biggest network in the history of this planet and changed this world. Okay? Even though that we only got about this much of what was really going on while he walked this planet, the Lama got a lot more than that. And if you haven't watched the Lost Journey of Jesus, episode 21 of the Patriot and Lama show, you need to do that. But this is very important practical wisdom. Okay. And we're going to get into that right now. Again, share, like, comment, share as much as you can. Because again, we didn't get that email out in time, but we'll get it, probably be coming out in about 10 minutes. Usually when you try to do that, it doesn't come out too fast. So Brother Rasaji, let's talk a little bit before we get into the questions today. Can you give your rundown on practical wisdom and how you think it's applicable, that you got to master that in these current times here? And really any time, but currently.
Well, first of all, it's great to be with you, Patriot Jimmie. And practical wisdom really falls in, according to the Lama series, the age we're in, Dar Power Yuga, because it's the age of communication. So how good is my communication? We're not in the golden age. We're not in the age where, the people are, staring at their navel and eating on alfalfa sprouts and don't really care as much about the human race. We're in a moment in history that is huge. We're in the Dar Power Yuga stage. That means we're in the second Yuga cycle of ascension. And we are called to learn as much as we can and then to help our brothers and sisters. Didn't get any better than that, brother, than with practical wisdom. That means wisdom that can be applied so that people and their families and their friends benefit from this wisdom immediately. And it is the application of this wisdom that's going to take us into the light. We're going to be able to bring the golden age into the Dar Power Yuga. That doesn't happen without experience, without wisdom, and especially without effort, brother. So I am so happy to be here today to discuss this subject. This has been something on the Lama series mind for a long time. And this just tells us who's clicking in this age. Who's ready? Who's ready to bring the golden age into their life, the kingdom of heaven on earth? Back to you, brother.
Absolutely. And it is all about helping others, right? I mean, that's so important, to give what you want. We say that a lot on this show, and we say this a lot in the trainings, on the mastermind webinars, and the circle of life trainings, that what you give, you get. What you put out, you get back. And one of the things I see, and I feel bad because, I've got family members like this, and I've got, friends of mine like this, and even business partners like this. They live so much into the negative fear of everything. So if you look at the worst case scenario, okay, let's just take it for a moment. I don't want to, I don't usually look at the worst case scenario. I look at the solutions to the things that we need to solve. But what's the worst thing that can happen to you? Even though that you're supposed to, move this body forward, like Brother Rasaji says, and what they believe is, that you want to eventually turn your body into like what Christ did, right? When, that's eventually where people want to go. And who knows what, will happen, right? But let's just say the worst case scenario happens and you lose this body. Well, your soul doesn't die. And what do you feel? Whatever happened, and then boom, you're good to go. So, don't dwell on all of this negative stuff out there. Turn that stuff off. We're seeing things happen that are magnificent. And we want you to learn how to use your practical wisdom in a way to thrive and not just survive during these times. And building the network out and growing this network and helping spread the word. This is why on the Patriot and Lama show, we keep it, clean for Facebook and YouTube, right? And even with what's in the latest of the Lama series, all that stuff should be fine under, the First Amendment here in the United States of America. There's nothing there that would go against any policies, okay? But we just don't want to risk it here because we know we can reach more brothers and sisters to bring them these episodes, to bring them these free platforms, both on Rasaji.com and My Patriots Network, and then Mastermind too, for the education of online business building, because we want to teach you how to fish. We want to teach you how to get financially solid so you don't have to worry, and that you can actually focus on your destiny. You can do the things that the Lama does and that the Patriot does. We want to see you do that. We want to see you step into your power like you never seen before. But let's go into that first question, Master Lama Rasaji, because the Patriot's just rambling a little bit here because, I'm fired up coming off the Mastermind webinars right onto the Patriot and the Lama show. That might be too much energy for the Patriot in one day, but no, I'm joking. What does practical wisdom? Okay, so let's ask the audience, because one thing we want you all to do is we want you to all start asking questions during this instead of waiting to the end. We want you to ask questions as we're going through there, and we're going to ask this to you. What does practical wisdom mean to you? What does it mean to you personally? And then we'll ask the Lama what it means to him, okay? And what it means to the Lamasery. But go ahead in the comments down below and tell us what practical wisdom means to you personally. Think about it. Give you about a minute. I'm kidding. Take your time, but think about it. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to ask the Lama here in about a minute what it means to him. But what does it mean to you? A lot of people, I hear the Brother Rasaji, our Lama here, favorite Lama, telling a lot of people, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. You're to listen twice as much as you talk. And then you see people that don't ever listen. All they want to do is talk over you. And they're not even an expert in your dojo. They're like a white belt. If you wanted to compare it to karate, they come in your dojo. I got partners like this. They come in my dojo, they have no experience. They're like a little white belt, like a little 2-year-old, learn to come in the first day of karate, but yet they think they're the sensei to run the dojo. Right? I'll learn forever. When I'm in Master Lama Rasaji's dojo on Fridays and stuff, I'm the student. I'm listening. I'm learning. Okay. That's very important because most people in life, they don't make it. They don't move forward. They don't ascend in their knowledge and wisdom. A lot of people say to me, and I appreciate it, but I don't, Jimmie, you're the smartest guy I ever met. And all. I pray for wisdom. I pray for knowledge. I actually thank you for it. The only thing you don't need to thank the creator for, you probably have to come and say, ask for forgiveness of what you've done bad, right? And then thank for forgiving, right? But everything else you thank for as done, right? And so, you know, there's a lot of things going on in this world right now, and there's people that are really worried about Russia and Ukraine and this and you know well, you know what that is, hopefully. And all these things they're worried about, right? I love my son Jimmie Jr., but he got, the what, and I got a little thing, and that stuff's happening in my household, but we're born right through it. We're getting healthy. We're strengthening our immune system. We're breathing. We're doing our Tai Chi Gong. We're praying. We're building our relationship with the Creator. Because remember something. Remember something. The Creator can keep you from harm from anything. Believe as truth, and it shall come. Believe as truth that you have the best physician. You have the best security. You have it all based on your relationship with the Creator of all things. I don't care what you call the Creator, the point of origin, the beginning, the end. Nobody created the Creator. The Creator's always been, always will be. But just in the Hebrew Bible, the Creator's called Elohim. He's called the Heavenly Father. He's called Yahuwah. He's called Abba. That's 4 different names alone, just in that Bible. Okay, so I don't want to debate that. I'm telling you the entity I'm talking about, and the closer you get to that entity, the Creator of all things, the more you'll see what I'm saying, and you'll have clarity and discernment to understand it, and you're going to be able to step into your power, and no human being on this planet will stop you from stepping into your power. Okay, so Master Lama Rasaji, what does practical wisdom mean to you?
Well, the wisdom that's applicable, the wisdom that can actually be applied. In other words, can someone benefit from it? Can they go from point A to point B? Can it help assist them in transformation from 3D into 5D? Because today, this is the wisdom that's to be applied in the dark power yuga. I see a lot of times people saying stuff and hinting to stuff that's in a different yuga that we're in. But the key of it is what can you apply? We are a mentoring system for over 3,000 years. People ask me a lot, how is it that you guys stay the way you are? You're into everything. You're not political, and you're not contaminated as an organization. How is that possible? Well, there's 2 obvious reasons that's possible. And that is you're committed to work on yourself on a daily basis. And then you're committed to share the little knowledge that you have received with other people. And along the way, we walk side by side. We don't walk in front of them, we don't walk behind them. We walk just like Jesse's Owens, famous coach, walked with him when Jesse Owens was getting nervous about going to the Berlin Games in 1936. And there was this funny man there with a funny mustache, and they were really focusing on a particular, core of people. And that was a different culture than he had ever been exposed to. The man was unbelievably trained. His coach says, "Why are you so worried, Jesse? There's nobody in America. Look what you just accomplished in the Olympic trials and how much you beat people in every race that you attended. I know you're getting ready to go to a culture. I know we're on the brink of war, but all you need to do." So they were walking around, and Jesse looked at the coach, and they'd been walking for about 15 minutes. And he noticed the longer they walked, the slower they got, which was the opposite of all of his training. And he was saying, "Coach, are you going to show me a new technique of training?" He said, "Jesse, As of now, I have taught you everything I can teach you. From this point on, you need to know if you walk a while and if you talk a while, things will get better. And in that, he developed a real inner strength, a connection to the divine that he had noticed that he had. And all of a sudden, he could feel this energy and the spirit rush through him. And he's thinking, oh my God, the coach is waiting to the last moment to reveal to me the greatest knowledge of all, that my vehicle was trained as well as it can be, but it's going to be what I got going on here and what I got going on here that's going to determine that outcome when I go to Berlin. And the story is, as everybody knows, he went into that place. He marched out in front of the Olympic American team, and he came out of there with a bunch of gold medals. But to this day, he said that advice was something that took him the rest of his life beyond his Olympic career. And that was huge. If we walk a while and we talk a while, things will just get better. Now, see, Jimmie, that's wisdom, this aptical that makes sense, that can be applied. And that's the kind of wisdom we're talking about. Back to you, brother.
Well, yeah, and for personal experience in the month of May, and let's let all our folks out there know that the wind is coming to your back soon. It's starting to blow in the alternative direction. But May alone for me, it was very interesting. The Circle of Life community members, we have our gathering and all that stuff going on, and we all felt that Mercury being retrograde, and people say, yeah, you got to know what the planets do and the magnetic pole and the energy effect they have on the Earth. Just like the full moon has an effect when there's more people in the hospital emergency room, there's more people get arrested. Okay, it's the way it works. It's a magnetic pole, energy pole on the Earth itself. So when Mercury goes into indirect orbit, not a Mercury redirect, it's going the opposite way that it goes, and it gets intense. I mean, for communication, for equipment, for all kinds. It's like a full moon times a lot every day. Okay, and we started feeling it back when the end of March. We were feeling it, and usually it'll start subsiding maybe about 6 weeks after, a little bit. But it came into May with like a roaring lion. I mean, with electronics, it was taking stuff out. It took my meter out on my house. Half of it was burned. So we only got half the power in here. So we couldn't run the air conditioning. We had to go get window units, and we're using portable solar. And I'm very thankful for all of that Abba's given that to me. But that happened, and then me and my wife went away. And then, if you haven't heard this, she gets sick, and then she's down for 3 weeks. My goodness gracious, even the ambulance here, where I had to do mouth to mouth. So you talk about Mercury retrograde. Oh my goodness gracious. It was like a tornado. But Jim, I was steady in the storm, because why? Because I was using practical wisdom through that. Okay. And I'm really working more and more on applying it into everything that I do. Usually I was raised to be the bull, right? Charging forward with my horns, moving everything that's in my way, to the goal. It's getting run over. Yeah, I mean, it's either getting stomped down, I'm moving it out of the way, it's moving. Okay. But I've learned, and one of the things I think it's more important is to be what they call the snake, where you sit back and you're thinking and you're wise, and you don't just rush into things. Because right now we got a lot of things where people would think this planet was literally on fire. And sometimes it literally is in fire in a lot of places around the world, literally on fire. But with what's going on with natural disasters and the unrest and all of these things, people tend to focus on that. And what's going on is because people are focusing on that and they don't understand it. They're not using practical wisdom at all. It doesn't even exist in their vocabulary. Because if we're all sitting here tuned in to doom and gloom, and we're vibrating doom and gloom, then how do you think Mother Earth's going to feel? Now, I don't worship Mother Earth, but I'm appreciative of Mother Earth. I love Mother Earth. Why? Because I live on Mother Earth, and we have been horrible stewards to Mother Earth. We have been horrible stewards. We cut our trees down when we can grow in industrial hemp, okay, which can produce almost every freaking product on the planet. Almost. I mean, it's amazing what that plant does. The most productive plant per acre, the most profitable for the farmers, and the best for the soil. And it pulls out the most CO2 out of the air. 1 + 1 = 2. But because of greed, we hurt Mother Earth by chopping down all the big trees. And you ask Brother Lama if it don't feel good to lean up against an old tree and do some meditation with your spine against that tree. They had to pry him off of an old one time. He was literally magnetically stuck to that tree. Okay. We got to become better at a lot of things, and we got to start learning to utilize practical wisdom in everything that we're doing. All this overreacting and fighting. I see all these people of the same religion, and one group of them's calling the other one group of them witches and all kinds of evil shit. Excuse my French, but it's crazy. We need to come together. And listen, people need to worry about themselves and not try to change everybody else. Work on you and make you the best you so you can accomplish your destiny. Right? So, you have anything to say about that, Brother Lama? Because I mean, I feel this very, very, this practical wisdom. When we went over what we wanted to talk about, we picked this topic. I really think it is a key thing to help people turn what we're experiencing, because I'm not experiencing doom and gloom in any way, shape, or form. You got to unmute yourself, brother.
Well, exactly. I mean, things that, long term, the changing of the mind will bring to people everything in the world that they really, really need, and everything in the world that they truly want. But the problem is with most people is the 4D body, the unconscious body, the subconscious body feeds a lot of people's energy field, or what we refer to as the energy body. And so we are a feeling being. So most of the times people let their feelings overpower them, and they honor those feelings, and all of a sudden now they're vibrating those feelings. Well, vibration and frequency always brings you your reality. So the tendency in the beginning, when people begin to work on themselves and receive this practical wisdom, what is really important is how much of it are they automatically applying? Because when they start to apply it, there becomes this real shift. And one of the reasons we always ask Jimmie people to keep a book, right, is a book is a yardstick. But as they read that book 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, they start to see that these things like the 45-day challenge, they start to see that the things they're hearing from the Daily Lama and the Patriot, they start to see this stuff showing up in their life. And there's a shift that starts to happen. And with the shift, the faith seems to grow right along with the shift. They get a little bit more, faith gets a little bit stronger. They get a little bit more reality, faith gets a little bit stronger. And then the next thing they look around is friends are starting to change. The quality of their friends are changing and beginning to show. The quality of the opportunities in their life are changing. opportunities to not just trade hours for dollars. They start receiving payment based on things they did years before, like a musician who's receiving royalties from a record they recorded a decade ago. And even better yet, I mean, the Presley family is more wealthy today than Presley himself was when he was alive, because he was not really of sound mind and body all the time. And he was overexpending his expenditures. Since he's been gone, the family has managed his wealth better than he did. So you've got to understand, what is practical wisdom? Practical wisdom is wisdom that you use in your daily life on a regular basis. That's why I love this concept of the circle of life. I love the intro book. I mean, it's only 108 pages. Can you imagine? It's written at a fourth grade level education. Most people can read that book the first time in 2 or 3 days. It's a no read. My 12-year-old reads 40 pages a day of a book that's harder to read than reading The Circle of Life, Jimmie. And yet, the knowledge that was put forth, talking about practical wisdom or practical knowledge that was put forth, what is the sum total of everything that I learned from teaching in the Lamasery the first 25 years of teaching coming into mastership? That is what is in that. And when we're in the process now of modifying, which I can't even begin to tell you, I was on with my production manager today, and I'm so excited about what we're getting ready to do, because everything that's going to be involved in the circle of life that we talk about will be manifesting in this more advanced version of the circle of life. And people always ask me, well, I connect with this and that to the divine. And I said, well, that's great. But the Lamasery made sure that I didn't just write one chapter. In other words, the whole book's not just about praying. The whole book's not just about meditating. It's about nutrition. And most people in the world doesn't even know that there's 3 levels to absorb nutrition. And then it's about movement. Well, my goodness, I think movement must be important because we're in the age of movement. And if I'm not moving, I'm kind of perishing. Because when I look at the earth today, the earth is 70% liquid, and it's not by accident in a human body that's healthy is 70% liquid, right? So that's not by accident, that's the way that it is. And then, am I breathing only oxygen? And then how much oxygen am I breathing? And how much prana am I breathing? And this is why they call it in India prana yama, which actually, Jimmie, means life over death. A lot of people don't know that practice pranayama, but pranayama actually means life over death. And then there's prayer, which means ask in thanksgiving, but there's also meditation, when means to listen. What am I supposed to listen to? I remember asking the Master Lama, who just turned in April, as you know, 132 years old in the physical body. I said, Master, when would you define that I've entered deep meditation? And so he looked at me and he smiled and he said, Little Lama, he said, you're at the intermediate level of meditation when you can hear blood flowing out of the chambers of your heart. Well, obviously, you're going to have to slow down and not just listen to what's on the news or what's playing in most people's households, the background, in order to do that. And then when I think about what my work is, what Christ said, know ye by your work. And the Lama series says also the quality of your work. In other words, does your work, does it give you pleasure? Does your work give you energy? When you look at this, Jimmie, as you know, you've been physical almost all your life, and I have been too. We've been on different paths with that, but we both have been very physical in our life. There are certain even physical exercises that you can do that will almost deplete all of your chi, deplete all your energy. By the time you're finished doing that, you're exhausted. And yet there are ways to exercise with almost not breaking a sweat. Not only will it not exhaust your energy, it's giving you more energy, as if the human body's like a human battery, and doing the exercises is like plugging that battery into a charger, just like we do our cell phone. And it's also true of relationships. If I'm in a toxic relationship, what kind of practical wisdom is that? If I'm in that relationship, right? If it's toxic, how do I know it's toxic? What's happening to my energy? What's happening to movement? What's happening to my communication? How am I feeling, right? And then the real key is nature. What is our relationship? I'm shocked sometimes when I hear how many people have not been out in nature in weeks or months, sometimes years. You see, a long time ago, when they began to take fireplaces out of households, and then they replaced them with medicine chests that held little brown bottles, all of a sudden downtown was built with these big glass skyscrapers for the corporate world, and they could look out and see nature, but we want you to work 50 to 60 hours for us, and maybe we'll give you 20 to 30 minutes for lunch. But they were keeping them out of nature. See, it doesn't take a very conscious person to realize that a little bit of practical wisdom and self preservation leads you on the pathway to the divine. That if you want to start to be the cause in your life, as opposed to the effect of everyone else's life, you are truly on the pathway of enlightenment. Back to you, brother.
Yeah, and I think that kind of answered question two. Why is practical wisdom important in your life? If you want to add something else to that, I think if you want to add something to that question before we go to the next one, but I think you know,
Well, the key of it is what I see a lot of, and people ask me a lot of times. I would, like I said, I was 25 years of teaching before I wrote my first book, and I had people the first 25 years begging me to write a book, and I wouldn't do it. And I was 30 years of teaching before I did a DVD, and people were begging me to do a DVD on the form and on the exercises. And they said, "Why are you not doing that, Lama Rasaji?" And I said, "Well, it's kind of like some people think the way that you absorb nutrition through eating a steak is that you rub it on your skin. But anybody with half a sense knows that you've got to take the time to chew the meat up and let the protein go to the places in the body that it needs to go for you to get the best nutrition out of that good piece of meat, right?" A lot of people, if I have a book and if I have a DVD, they'll use it once or twice, and then it'll go up on the shelf. And their mindset of self-improvement and practical wisdom is, one day I'll get back to that. I did figure eight's 145-day challenge. I've mastered it, Jimmie. I really don't need to do that. See, when it really comes down to it, there's an old saying: you came to teach what you really came to learn. See, the moment you take off just being the student's hat and you put on the teacher's hat, everything shifts. Well, the first thing that shifts, how you are as a student now has greatly changed. And as you begin to share, you feel like the most blessed person in the world. Yes, the students are receiving and being blessed, but the teacher, oh my God, they're being blessed 100-fold. And even if they're not even charging for the lessons, they're being blessed, because there's such a thing as psychic income. And you can't put a tab on that. You say, Rasaji, what is psychic income? Well, go to Rasaji.com, which is trailing across the bottom, join for free, and read those testimonies. That's what the Lama series calls psychic income. In other words, you can't put a price on the impact that these things, this practical wisdom can have to people, but you have to apply it. There's so many people that just want to rub the steak on the skin, Jimmie, or they want to put the DVD or the book on the shelf, right? Instead of living it. I'll never forget the story of Shamus of Tabriz, where Jalal Rumi, the 13th century mystic poet, is sitting around. He's doing satsang with his chelas, and they're talking about this and that. And then, shoo, there's a big gust of wind. And Shamus of Tabriz and his physical body just flies into the top of the window of the upper room. And he points the finger at Rumi. And he says, "You want to talk about it? You want to read about it? Or do you want to do it? And do you want to manifest that?" And nobody said anything. And Shamus of Tabriz turned out the window just like Superman and flew right back out the door. Rumi immediately turned to the satsang and says, "Oh, I've got to go find that guy." It took him 3 months to find Shamus of Tabriz. But his really good poetry years later came after he humbled himself and began to learn from a true master with a true lineage, as opposed to think that he knew everything. His poetry got so beautiful and so deep that reading his poetry literally stirs the soul, will stir the human soul. So back to you, brother.
Yeah, and I mean it's pretty interesting. I want to read something about practical wisdom and how you. Then we're going to talk about it on from a spiritual standpoint too, right? But let's talk about it. It says there are many ways you can do what. There's many things that you can do to develop your own practical wisdom, such as learning critical thinking skills, refining your goals and core values, expanding your intellect, education, and always being sure to understand the circumstances of the situation as much as possible before making a decision. So, one of the things that we teach in the circle of life is about your column exercises, right? Which handles a few of those things there. And then really thinking, because there's been times that, I speak to the brother Lama, about 6 days a week. And there'd be times that where I wanted to act, but I wait, I always wait another day, right? And I pray and I think about things. And you really got to make sure that you don't react. You gotta, give it some time, think about it, pray about it, lay out a plan. If you've got someone like your consulary, like I called the brother Lama here, If you got somebody that's got wisdom around you that you can bounce some things off of, it's always good to do that. But make sure that everything that you're doing, that you don't overreact, right? Again, it talks about, there are many things that you can do to develop your own practical wisdom, such as learning critical thinking skills. How many people have critical thinking skills nowadays? Everybody just reacts. They just react and they say whatever they want to say. You look at social media, what a mess, right? People, condemning each other with their written words, fighting and battling all the time. One person saying, well, no, my religion is more accurate than yours. If you don't follow mine, you're damned to hell and hellfire. And the other one, instead of all of us knowing that we are in a spiritual battle and that we're here to work together and throw away the petty Annie crap, and let's get serious, because this is serious, right? This world is going through a change, whether anyone likes it or not. And the more people that get on to the positive vibrational side of the equation, the more it's going to help heal this planet. And, we've got to look at what's going on right now, the earthquakes and the volcano eruptions and all these different things that are going on. And we have personal responsibility. I love how people throw that on God's shoulders. Oh, well, God must be mad at the world because he's all these hurricanes and tornadoes and natural disasters. No, we're creating all that. We're creating all that with our vibrations, with our thoughts, with the hate, with all of that that's going on right now. So we need, all of us need to focus on ourselves, start using some freaking practical wisdom in everything that you're doing. Slow down. One thing I've learned about Tai Chi Gong, as I slow down, I feel the energy even more so. Okay. So I know that one of our Iron Shaman out there, Brother Iron Shaman, he's got a lot of knowledge out there. But slowing down, Tai Chi Gong is not hard. It actually is the easiest thing I've ever done. But when I make a commitment to something, I do it. The reason that people don't succeed at Tai Chi Gong and don't evolve at the breathing, and some people will call them chakras. I call them your energy portals of the Creator created to run your body. You got a soul, you got a body, physical body, right? And then you've got the spirit of the Creator in you. So these things got to run efficiently, okay? And that's why you got these portals going, and that's why Tai Chi Gong helps open them up more. Helps make that energy move more. Helps make the body, mind, and soul, the body and soul and the spirit work together better. That's what's happening here. That's what's happening here. I've helped develop many software programs. And some people say I'm one of the smartest people they've ever talked to. Well, thank you very much, but they're smarter. But I work this mind, right? And I can tell you that's what I'm seeing happen, right, to me personally. And I'm reading these testimonials, and I'm seeing people have physical healings, financial transformations, and all that. Anybody out there that's doing a 45-day challenge or a part of the private membership, a Circle of Life, put down good, bad, or indifferent what's been going on with what Master Lama Rasaji has been teaching over there at Circle of Life, and Brother Master David Paul, and what you've been experiencing with the 45-day challenge and all of that, because that's really important. We were on the Mastermind webinars talking about that today. What we're getting ready to launch in the Mastermind webinars and with Circle of Life at Rasaji.com. Anybody that's having financial difficulties, we're going to teach you how to fish like you don't even understand. Okay. If you don't have your own business and you need to do something and you want to learn how to become a professional inviter to the information, because I know a lot of people are scared of sales, right? But a professional inviter to the information with free memberships that bring value to people, that make life-changing things happening. This is a good thing, right? A good thing. So that's going on, and that's going to continue to go on. And we're having webinars on that. And we're always going to continue to make things better and better and better to help reward people that are helping spread this message and get more people into the free memberships. So we're going to be getting into more detail. Like, I love sales, but I don't really sell. I tell people how it is. And if, you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. Next. We deliver people great stuff for free so they can get to know, like, and trust you. That's important. We're teaching that on the Mastermind webinars. If you have not signed up for the free account, please do, because you'll see a lot of value in the free alone, just like you do see at the Circle of Life. So this last question, Brother Rasaji, and folks, again, get your questions ready. I'm going to look, because I can't look through all the comments. There's a lot of comments. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments. Okay. So I can't go back through and be looking, up on all of those. So if you have any questions, let us know. Also, let people know what you're experiencing if you're involved in the 45-day challenge or Circle of Life. Sow good seed. Get those good check marks on your book of life. Okay. Get the good check marks on there. We all got enough of the bad check marks on there, right? Let's get more of the good check marks on that side. So how do I practice practical wisdom, Brother Rasaji? How do people practice practical wisdom? How do they practice it? How do they get better at it? I mean, the column exercise to me is very important, because as you're teaching, the column exercise, which you can get for free in the Circle of Life at Rasaji.com, the community, but that is part of it too. You want to talk about those things, what you would recommend from your side of the equation on, practicing this practical wisdom?
Well, the best way to use the practical wisdom and go through early transformation is why as you know, Jimmie, is why we created the 45-day challenge and everything that goes with it. So we'll talk about the 45-day challenge, and what we ask people to do in that challenge is they're going to be asked to do about 2 to 6 very easy exercise. When I mean easy, they won't break a sweat doing it. They'll also be able to ask to walk a little bit and to pray a little bit, and they're going to learn to meditate a little bit. And once a week, we ask them to take those prayers and meditation to the mirror, right? And when they take it to the mirror, we ask them to speak audibly to the mirror. There's 2 or 3 reasons why. The way the Creator designed us, according to the Lama series, is your audible tones have the most impact to you anatomically. In other words, you actually have the power with just your tone to heal yourself in those words. Also, when you go to speak out loud, you will pay attention to the expression that's on your face. And you will understand, do you believe the words coming out of your mouth? Which is truly, if people understand how faith is, how powerful that is. Now, you're speaking into creation, something that you want to happen to your spirit, to your mind, to your body. And every cell in your body, every nucleus in you stands at attention when it hears your audible tones saying that. So we don't want to always pray in silence. That's important. It's nice to train the mind to do that. The Lama's been doing that for years, but it's also important to speak out loud, because every cell is like an army man on a battlefield, and you're the general, and you say, stand at attention, and every cell stands at attention, and the light in the cell and the energy in the nucleus of the cell stands up. And now what are you going to do? Well, you're going to give it some positive affirmation, or possibly a passage. I love to do passages from scripture, Jimmie, from the Judean Christian Bible, from the Hindu Bible. I love to speak things that are really, really positive. One of the most positive ones is, and it's transformational, is greater is thee that is in me, that is in the world. Do you believe that? You see, I'm looking at the mirror and I'm speaking. Do I believe those words? Greater is thee that is in me than is in the world. It's teaching you a commandment to listen inside first, which is meditation. Start a direct line with Abba. I mean, you know this, Jimmie. We see these testimonies, and 80 to 85% of the people are affirming one of the same categories. And they're telling us that the 45-day challenge and everything that goes along with the challenge is making them closer to the divine. I mean, if I'm a parent and that was my child, whether the child's in their 40s or 60s, but if I'm a parent and I'm a firm believer in the divine and the almighty, what greater thing could I possibly ask of my child that they're telling me they're doing a sabbatical with the Lama for 45 days where they're saying no to negativity and they're saying yes to positivity and they're consciously doing. Now, when you're about 2 weeks into this, it's time to do a column exercise. Okay, let's do the column exercise. Column number 1. What do you love and what do you love to do? I'm going to write them down. And you know what? Like Shakespeare says, to my own self, I'm going to be true, so I'm not going to lie. I'm going to write down everything I like. In the next column, what are you qualified to do? What have you been trained to do? What do you have a degree in? What are you certified in? Maybe about halfway down that second column, ask yourself, if your sister or brother talked to us today, what would they say that are some of your strengths? What would they say that you're qualified to? Maybe you're a great communicator, but you don't see yourself as a great communicator. And that last column, Jimmie, I'm going to write down what I do not like to do, what I do not like. And sometimes the thought of it is like me being back in school and somebody running their fingernails down the blackboard that would just give you the creepy crawls up the back, right? That's how you do a column exercise. And then you go to that. Do you want a new career? Do you want to create a business? Use that as the model. Are you looking for a soulmate? Are you looking for a life partner? Right? You think it might be a good idea to do a column exercise on a life partner? Somebody told me the other day, I already have a life partner, Rasaji. Why should I do a column exercise? I said, well, this is what you do. You still do the column exercise, and you're going to find out that person over the next couple of months or couple of years will inspire to be your ideal person, or they're gone by vibration and the ideal person shows up. If the column exercise, we did this with a lady, Jimmie, a couple of years ago. It was really powerful. It was one of my wife's close friends. She had worked with us in the home care industry when we used to have a home care franchise. And we decided to do one because she was not really feeling that maybe this was right. By the time she finished the column exercise basically became her mirror. And she looked at us and I said, what did the column exercise say? She did it with us. We knew what it said. We wanted to hear it come out of her mouth. She said, oh my God, the column exercise is revealing why in the world am I even with this person? And she was shocked. It was such an epiphany. Jimmie, it was a huge, you should have seen the look on the girl's face. It was a huge epiphany, but it probably saved her from going down a decade of being unhappy with the mate that she's with. That's practical wisdom, brother. Back to you.
Yeah, you really need to apply it in every part of your life. And the thing is with the column exercises, really going into every area of your life, right? Really looking at all areas of your life, from your business life to your personal, relationships. Again, we talk about, these three quadrants: health, wealth, and relationship. Pretty much everything falls under those three main categories, right? And people are moving away from pain and moving towards pleasure, right? People usually buy to get out of pain, or they buy to get into pleasure. I mean, that's pretty much what they do, right? So it's interesting to see, the column exercise side of the equation. I was telling you about me with the pad, right? That I felt guilty during prayer time, writing things down that were coming into my mind. And then through the spirit, Abba basically said, Jimmie, this is me talking. Stop and write down what I say. Basically, that's what happened. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, all right. So, going through the column exercises, getting more discernment with the spirit to know right from wrong, to know truths from lies, to follow the path that's been laid out for you to accomplish the destiny that you were created for, and actually putting those words into prayer every day and thanking for that. Like my prayer book, First Hour for Men, a lot of the things that are not positive in there, I don't say it. You know what I mean? I've kind of almost rewritten those prayers. And I think over the next year or so, I will actually put the prayers that I'm using every day, how I've modified that, and get them out there for people, and give an example of how to pray, in Thanksgiving, right? I think the only thing you need to ask for is forgiveness of your sins, and then thanks for the forgiveness of them. But, thanking for something that through this, through this practical wisdom that you've determined that this is what you're supposed to do. This is righteous. This is right. This is good for people. This is helping, your fellow man and your fellow woman, right? Your brothers and sisters. Remember, the Creator gave us a commandment of loving each other as we love ourselves. Loving our brothers and sisters as we love ourselves. Love, and I'm a tough guy, don't get me wrong. The Lama knows this. He's known me many, many lifetimes here. I'm a pretty tough guy, but love is what's going to solve all this, okay? It's going to be the love and the vibration of love and kindness. And if you can't say something nice, then don't say it. Just move on. I mean, there's things right now, I got to tell you, the Patriot would like to pull out his tomahawk right now and go wild on the internet with things I know about certain individuals that I'm no longer working with, okay? Believe me, I got all the intel, okay? But I got to stay focused on what we're doing with Circle of Life, the Mastermind webinars, the Patriot and the Lama show, the things that Abba gave me, that gave the names to me. I mean, these other individuals, he didn't give me those names. They had them. He gave me these names, right? To work and do the things that he wants me to do. And I know for the first time in my life, over this last 15 months, I am very clear on what I'm supposed to be doing. Are you? And if you're not, when will you be? And what are you doing to use practical wisdom to accomplish that? Okay. We're giving you the tools for free. And again, if you've got a problem with something, you get a hold of our support. For goodness sakes, they take care of business. We understand the relationship with financing, revenue, in, out. We never want to keep anybody's money. We don't do anything like that. Anybody that says, hey, I don't want to be that, yeah, you give your money back. You do what's right. You vibrate what's right. And when you vibrate what's right, you get more right coming to you. It's the way it works. You see all these people coming down. I mean, there's a lot of people that are coming down right now. They're getting taken down by the Creator. No one else needs to worry about it because the Creator's going to take them all down anyways, okay? Because we're going into a whole nother time. Now, Master Lama Rasaji, Brother Rasaji, talk about, a little bit about where we're at currently with the energy. Because again, boy, I tell you, I was in a war zone in a hurricane in May. Personally, walking through it though, like I'm walking on the water with the seas calm, but the hurricanes on each side of me going, but I'm using practical wisdom to go through this. Talk about where we're currently at with.
Well, we're teaching people to be at the eye of the storm, Jimmie. There's many storms coming, Jesus said we must be willing to read the signs of the times. So he's telling us. Paul said in regards to astrology, astronomy, the zodiac, he said we must believe all things unto the Christ. In other words, we're the baby Christ. He is, when most of us, the idea of Bethlehem is us. So that baby Christ metaphysically is in us, waiting to come alive, to take the candle from behind the bushes, scripture says, and become this full living Christ who came off the cross and death couldn't even destroy him, rolled away the tomb, unbelievable who and what we are. During the day, we have the yin and yang cycle. We have these cycles during the year, and they flip back and forth about every 115 to 120 days, Jimmie. So, what normally happens is the sun moves this way, and the 13 moons of the year move in the counter way. And what do we see when I do the sun and the moon, which is in the latest title of the Lama series, is referred to as the union of the sun and moon. And we give that a name. And you can go look at that and hear this more in detail. It's about a 30-minute video. It's free to anyone that joins. 3 to 4 times a year, what happens is we go into what's referred to a lunar yin. Now, a short lunar yin, Jimmie explained in the beginning of our broadcast. So every full moon, which is 13 moons a year, we have a 72-hour where for most of that month, the energy felt like it was going this way. And now all of a sudden for 72 hours, it feels like it's going in reverse. And we know what happens. Just check and talk with any first responders. So check with the military, check with the police, the state troopers, people working trauma units of hospitals. If you don't think full moon, 24 hours before, the day of, and the day after, they'll tell you. So when we're in Mercury direct, the Lama series refers to that as a lunar yang cycle. When we go what the astrologers call Mercury retrograde or redirect, that puts the moon in a lunar cycle. But during the lunar cycle that happens 3 to 4 times a year, it's not a full moon that affects you for 72 hours. It affects you for 21 to 28 days, as if you're having a full moon that lasts a whole month. And we started really seeing that. We felt spiritual minded people feel it earlier the more awake you are. But about mid to end April, right after Easter season and the Passover to early May, oh my gosh. Every time I went outside, I saw fire engines, rescue squads, cop cars, state troopers. It was going. And this one really hit the electronic wave this time. So the power grids, your computers, your smartphones, your internet connection, your TV connection, you really saw this. Why is that so? Well, because electricity for the most part is yang. And so when the yin, it's like pouring water on fire. So when the yen cycle hit, it was like it metaphysically was going through the electronic lines and just wiping them out. And virtually in Jimmy's house, that's exactly what it did do. So the key of it is that happens. Well, we're about 90% now out of the yen cycle. Now remember, there's another cycle that played this year, that one of the 12 animal zodiacs. This year, if you remember, if you've been paying attention, we're in the year of the water tiger. Well, we're not out of the water tiger. Then what did the Lama tell you early on? Every year, when we have a Chinese animal change, the dominant energy of that animal cycle is between March and September. Oh my God, we're in June, aren't we? Which means we're in now the peak of water tiger. But we were going into the peak with us still being in lunar yin. But guess what, guys? We're getting ready to become solar lunar now. Well, what's that mean? Well, we're already in a solar year because the water tiger is a young tiger. What about we're moving toward the summer solstice? Lama, that's a young time. So watch what's going to happen, guys. I'm making a case for a triple yang cycle. We're moving into a single yang with the waters at your back for the next 3 weeks. 3 weeks after that, it's going to be like turbos were turned on. We'll move into a double yang cycle. And right before we go into the next yin, it won't last long because we'll be moving into the next yin cycle lunar. But we will see 2 to 3 weeks of a triple yang cycle. That means you'll be riding a surfboard, and in the beginning, it's like you're in Cocoa Beach, Florida, and Sebastian, and the waves are about 4 foot and glassy. And then 3 weeks later, they're like 8 to 14 foot, and they're getting a little choppy. And then the last part of this cycle, 6 to 9 weeks into this from today, it's going to be like you're riding the bonsai pipeline in Hawaii, and the waves are 16 to 24 foot, and they are choppy, and you're hugging that board trying to get direction. That's what we got. The good news is, if you need to get stuff done in business or in personal development or personal relationship, use the next 6 to 9 weeks to get her done, as we say in the South. But grounding and focus, remember you heard it on episode 56. Grounding and purpose is focus is very important. Back to you, brother.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. Now, go ahead and put your questions in, folks. I'm going to just show you again how to, I'm going to go over to, hold on. Let me make sure it ain't showing. Let me find out. Put your questions because we're going to answer some questions before we go today, before we close with our prayer and blessing to all you beautiful brothers and sisters out there. Let me just make sure I got everything set up right. All right. Okay. I like to have fun. My wife tells me I should have been a professional comedian. What do you guys think? I don't think that's what I'm meant to do, but hold on real quick. If you ain't having fun, you got to be feeling good, right? So when you go to Rasaji.com right here, if you're not part of the free community, just click on this link, put your email in. You'll be in the dashboard in the back office. And then once you get back there, yeah, I'm going to show you that. I got to log in here. Hold on one second. I don't want to give the email address out because then some people might email it, right? Not all you good people watching it live. Could be somebody that's not watching it live. Do it. Hold on. So that's how you sign up. Hold on one second. Let me go back and sign in real quick into a free account. There we go. Well, it's actually my Gmail, so I really don't answer that Gmail. I got enough emails going on over here. So let me see here. ahead. There we go. So when you log in, so you will get a username and password. Your username is usually your email address. You get a password. You got to set your password, but you'll drop back right here when you sign up. You've got your gold and silver frequencies. Whether you're a private member or free member, play those frequencies. You've got your channels, the latest from the Lamasery, the latest updates. Make sure that you get those latest updates. We actually got to do an image for this one, but make sure that you get them. Who do you listen to? This is powerful information that's coming on here. You don't need to pay for that anywhere. That's, in the latest from the Lama series in the free community itself. I'm under the training, the 45-day challenge task list. You have that. Follow that. Okay. If you need some motivation, go over to the testimonials. Go down and watch these testimonials and then read these, and make sure you read this one right here. Happy anniversary. They're all wonderful, but this one covers a lot of things. You should absolutely read that. Watch the videos, see what these other folks are getting. That'll motivate you to stay on it. Like, stay with it. You have your documents here where you can get your column exercises, explain to you how to do it. You can download it. Also, Circle of Life ebook there. You can download that. And then, of course, this is private membership. There's some things that you'll see, it'll say private membership. And then if you want to do that, you can do that. It's $14.95 a month, less than 50 cents a day. And you can click on upgrade there too. My Patriots Network, we have launched a community. So you can go there, click on community. If you don't have an account, create one. It's free. And then you can start getting involved in actions. I'm not going to go down through this. Again, this is, I don't want to go down through the whole thing. But there's different groups in here for different purposes, solution oriented, to talk about things that are going on, to get it. This is also a way that we're going to be bringing a lot of people to the environment to get more people into actually helping, with the solution side of the equation, right? So I wanted to show you all that real quick. Make sure that you had that before we get into the questions here. And we want to see questions. Don't be shy. Don't be bashful. Ask us what you want. Okay, so here's the first one from Brother Travis. My mother is frail and pain. What is the best thing to show her to try and get her started? Because I think this can help her. She's a Christian.
Yeah. I would learn to, do the 45-day challenge. If she's too frail to do that, you might consider joining the membership. Remember, the membership, one membership for a household, not one membership for a person. And the reason I say that is because the chair exercises would probably be a great place for her to start. My mom is 85 years old, just went through about a month ago 4.5 hours of colon surgery at stage 3 cancer, and she now is back practicing the chair exercise. That's how gentle that they are. And you might also have her look at our Wellness Wednesday or wellness page, because some of the supplements that we're using could also probably help her and give her some strength and give her some get up and go. Jimmie, back to you.
Absolutely. Okay. Hold on one second. Let me go through here. Yeah, you don't want to judge people. Listen, you're not the judge. No one needs to be judging other people. We got to worry and work on ourselves, right? And make ourselves better and better and better, and build our relationship with the Creator. And then the Creator will make you better. You're not going to change anybody, and including yourself, without the Creator helping you, right? Don't make me go too far back in these questions. Go ahead, throw them at us. We like them. Or did we answer all your questions? Was it so good that we answered everything? Let us know in the comments. Can you speak of regenerating the liver? I'm a recovering person. Now, this is awesome because you regenerated your kidneys, right?
Yeah, we generated the kidneys. I've repaired my nervous system, uh, increased my circulatory system. I'm excited. Tomorrow, the Lama turns, according to my social security number, which who you gonna believe that they say I turn 66 tomorrow. I all grace and blessing goes to Abba and his eternal Son, but I am extremely thankful to Boganathar and the system of Tai Chi Gong. The Lama was not supposed to live past his 18th birthday, and I've always felt a year above that is that I'm walking in grace. So to be over 40 years now walking in grace, you can imagine. And I feel wonderful. I'm so fired up about the mission that Abba has got Jimmie and me on, and the team we have is just absolutely phenomenal. But you can regenerate anything, and because you don't have any cells in your body that are older than 7 years. Now, in the liver exists some of the oldest cells that you have. The liver is like one of the last organs to totally repair. Where we want to get you guys to, if biochemistry, cutting edge biochemistry says we're never more than 7 years old. Molecularly, we're never more than 11 months old, which is really pretty cool. And the thought processes really affects the molecular structure of us. Then what we want you to be is, even though 7 years from now, obviously you'll be chronologically older, we're hoping that you will be better in every way. And that's what we're after. We want you to be able to have your checkups and healthcare providers tell you, you got more muscle mass, you got more bone density, your blood pressure is like it was 20 years ago, your blood sugar is leveling out. Boy, your body temperature is way just right in track. We want you to be told that all of your markers are better. That will be who you really are manifesting in your physical body. Now, you can say you're chronologically 7, but if you're better in every category, just imagine the potentiality here of where we're going to have. And then we're going to build a lamasery where we're going to teach a lot of people hands on stuff. We're going to have experts in all of their field that's going to have you eating the best food, the best nutrition on the earth. And we're going to provide things that will clean your energy body so quickly that people's regenerations are going to be completely off the charts. So back to you, brother.
Absolutely. And there's some more questions coming in here. That's great. Awesome. We had this today on Wednesday because I'm going to be on a plane tomorrow. So it'd be hard for me to do the Patriot and Lama show from the plane. So that's why we're doing it on Wednesday. Usually it is every Thursday at 12 p.m. But usually my wife and I, if we're going somewhere, we fly out on Thursdays. Okay. So if that occurs, then we're just going to put it on Wednesday. And we'll next time we'll make sure the email goes out on time. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Okay, let me go into why do we age, Brother Rasaji? And we got about another few minutes here, and then we're going to close with the prayer and blessing for everybody.
Well,
Why do we age?
The most significant thing, based on what I just told you, you're really never more than 7 years old. So we really shouldn't be growing physically. The mind is probably the single most abused of what God has given us that the human race has abused. You know, the Buddha says, what you think about, you become. I mean, his simple enlightenment when he came off that banyan tree after 45 days of meditation, the Buddha said, what you think about, you become. And the problem is even psychiatrists that have interviewed people say most people they're entertaining the thoughts they did last year, like 80, 90%. You've heard the adage, how can you keep doing the same thing over and over thinking you're getting different results? So that's at the core of it. And then everything that I say in the chapters, that is a playbook for youthing. Circle of Life, if you take it to heart, is a playbook for youthing. And when we redo this year, we're redoing a more advanced version. That book's probably going to go from 100 pages to 300 pages. And we are redoing it. Plus, you're going to have videos on every chapter of that book, PowerPoints, some shot on locations outside in nature, some shot with green screen. We're going to be doing a lot of things. I've already figured out it'll be about 15 hours of footage in this advanced Circle of Life. Let me tell you, you want to slow down the aging process, master the 45-day challenge and what's written in the Circle of Life. And I guarantee you'll start mastering the aging process for sure. Jimmie.
Absolutely. I mean, look at me, folks. I'm looking younger. Those of you that know me for a year, look at my hair. It's getting a little darker too, right? So all good. You're growing young. Remember, it's your mind. You're growing young. The head of the master Lama of the current Lamasery, the Lamasery, 130 what years old?
My personal mentor when I was very young and when I started, and the one that appeared to me out of the body and also started my physical training in 1975 in Manhattan, it was one of the 12 at the time, like Lamaji is here. And then in April, he's in the physical body 132 years, just turned 132 years old. Jimmie.
Well, listen, brothers and sisters, I love you all. The Lama loves you all. Let's all shout out a happy birthday to our favorite Lama here, 66 years young tomorrow, mañana. Give him some love in the comments. Sow some seed about the Circle of Life and the 45-day challenge. Somebody could read your comment and move over there and change their lives. We've got a lot of people, a lot of great things happening. Brother Lama, let's close it up. You want to close it up with prayer and blessing for the brothers and sisters?
Thank you, God, our Father, for bringing us together in your light and love and anointing us with your Holy Spirit. Thank you for bringing this humble Lama another year here on earth in this body, that you have done some really magical things over the years. Thank you for the graciousness of these beautiful people that are showing up, that Jimmie and me just dearly love and adore, and we're here to serve based on your will, Lord. Grant us all the prosperity, abundance, and eternal life that you have showed us to have, for we are children with the keys to your kingdom, and we're born of your DNA. We are grateful for everything that you have shared with us and what you are doing for the My Patriots Network and these wonderful, beautiful channels that you are bringing that are solution oriented to help our brothers and sisters live a long, healthy, happy, and very prosperous life. To you, we give all glory and all grace. Thank you for bringing me into this world once again. And thank you to my mother that allowed me to share her body when I forgot how to get here. Glory be to you, Abba, and all that you do for us and your eternal Son. To you and to him we give all glory and all praise. Amen.
We love you all. Have a
Love you
wonderful,
guys.
blessed day. Take care. See you next time.